Hi, I'm Steve Scruggs. I'm a psychologist at Olive Tree Counseling Center. And I'm going to take a few minutes today and give you some startup tips. And then I'm going to talk to you about diaphragmatic or deep breathing. It's a tool that can be used to help calm down and relax. So let me just kind of say at the beginning that learning to calm down and relax when you're stressed out is something that takes practice, and it's a skill that has to be developed. The great news is anybody can learn it, and once you learn it, it can really help you gear down and relax. Like any other skill, though, it's helpful to actually start when you're not stressed, which may sound weird, but actually helps a lot, because when you're not stressed, you can learn the skill, and once you've developed the skill, you'll be able to use it when you are stressed. So start off, if you could, by finding a quiet, comfortable place where you're not likely to be disturbed. We kind of describe it as practicing for success. So if you do it on the couch with the TV blaring or the kids arguing, you're kind of setting yourself up for failure. And remember that relaxation being a skill, that's something that needs practice over and over again. The more you practice, the better you'll be able to calm yourself. Think about things like getting so relaxed that maybe your blood pressure goes down. And in fact, you might need to do things like sit up slowly, and that'd be a sign that you're able to really calm down and relax. So we have lots of different physical reactions to stress. Example would be our heart rate goes up, our blood pressure goes up. We have an increase in the production of stomach acids. But the one that's easiest to control is our breathing. When we get stressed, we do rapid, shallow breathing. So I'll demonstrate. Unfortunately, this kind of breathing actually gets us more tense and more on edge, which is great when you're faced with a real emergency. But when you're sitting around worrying about problems at work or problems with your family, it's not very helpful. So the opposite is doing deep or diaphragmatic breathing. So with diaphragmatic breathing, you actually breathe the way a baby breathes. And what a baby does is a baby fills their whole lungs. They start at the bottom of their lungs and fill up. And we call it diaphragmatic breathing because the diaphragm is the wall of tissue between your lungs and your innards. And essentially, when you're breathing those deep, even, relaxing breaths, you actually push against the diaphragm. A simple way to think about it is when you're doing stress breathing, your shoulders will go up. And when you're doing deep, relaxing, diaphragmatic breathing, your stomach will go out, and then your chest will kind of naturally follow. So let me walk you through the steps, and then we'll take a few minutes to practice. Start by inhaling through your nose. By the way, there's no problem with inhaling through your mouth, except you tend to get cotton mouth, and inhaling through your nose allows you to slow your breathing. As you inhale, think about keeping your shoulders drooped and relaxed and filling your lungs from the bottom up. In order to slow and pace your breathing, count silently to yourself. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Now, by the way, there's no magic about 3. If you're more comfortable counting to 2 or counting to 4, that's just fine. But for most people, 3 is about right. Once you complete that inhale, so you've gone counting silently to yourself, pause for 1 to 2 seconds. The point here is not to strain, but to pace your breathing. Think of breathing as having a normal cadence. You breathe in, you pause before you exhale. When you exhale, I'd like you to breathe out through your mouth. And after you've done this several times, you can actually switch to your nose, breathing out through your nose. But start off with your mouth, because when we're stressed, we tend to clench our teeth. We do this. And when we do that, we clench our teeth, we tend to tighten our lips. So the best experts describe this way of handling it. They say, keep your teeth slightly apart and keep your lips relaxed and floppy. That doesn't mean you're trying to flutter your lips, it just means you keep them loose and relaxed. So you're doing this. Our research has shown that actually when we're doing that deep, even, relaxing breath, the exhale is just a little bit longer even than the inhale. So in order to slow that exhale down, I'm going to ask you to count backwards. 3, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 1, 1,000. At the end of that exhale, again, pause for 1 or 2 seconds. And the key thing there is you're not forcing the air out, you're not going, you're just easing it out. In fact, as you ease it out, kind of think of letting some of that stress go every time you exhale. So what I'll ask you to do is count through the breathing several times. As you count through the breathing, remember, you're breathing in through your nose, counting silently to yourself. Your stomach will be going out. You'll pause. You'll breathe out through your mouth, teeth slightly apart, lips relaxed and floppy. Just letting that air ease out and counting backwards to slow and pace your breathing. Again, pausing after your exhale before you take the next inhale. After we do that several times, I'll move on to asking you to say a calming or relaxing statement to yourself. It might be as simple as you're breathing in, saying, I am, and as you're breathing out, relaxed. Or, I am at peace. And we'll do that for several breaths. And the last step would be actually, and science is kind of interesting here, that when research was done on stress reactions and how to reduce them, then actually the most relaxing thing was when somebody said something spiritually meaningful to themselves while they were doing the breathing. And so my favorite, for instance, is Psalm 23. So as I breathe in, I say, the Lord is, and as I breathe out, my shepherd. And so having that kind of thought, just sort of as you breathe in, breathing it in, and as you breathe out, resting in that thought, that scriptural truth is really helpful. And so we'll go through each of these 3 steps, helping you to slow and pace your breathing. And now we're ready to begin. I'll just mention that as we go through it, you go at your own pace. I'll prompt you, and then I'll be quiet, and then I'll prompt you again and be quiet, and finally I'll prompt you a 3rd time. Be quiet for a few minutes, and then wrap it up at the end. Thanks for working to find ways to reduce your stress. Thanks for joining me today. So let's begin deep or diaphragmatic breathing. And what I'm going to ask you to do is join with me to begin taking deep, even, relaxing breaths. You go at your own pace, but I'll prompt you through each step. As you breathe in through your nose, concentrate on keeping your shoulders drooped and relaxed. Fill your lungs from your stomach up, so your stomach will go out. And count silently to yourself to slow and pace your breathing. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. Pause for just a second or 2. Breathing out through your mouth, teeth slightly apart, lips relaxed and floppy. Just let the air ease out. And as you drag out that exhale, count silently to yourself backwards. 3 1,000, 2 1,000, 1 1,000. Remember to pause for just a second or 2 before breathing in again. In through your nose, stomach out, counting silently to yourself to slow and pace your breathing. Pausing for 1 or 2 seconds. Out through your mouth, teeth slightly apart, lips relaxed and floppy. And counting backwards to drag out that exhale. Pausing again for just 1 or 2 seconds before breathing in again. I'll be quiet for a minute and just let you practice, and then we'll try the next step. So continue to take deep, even, relaxing breaths at your own pace. But now instead of counting, as you're breathing in and as you're breathing out, just say a calming or soothing statement to yourself. Like, as breathing in, I am, and as breathing out, relaxed. Continue to just let those exhales sort of drag out and ease out a little bit more stress each time you let your breath out. As you breathe in, I am. As you breathe out, at peace. I'll give you again another minute or two to practice. I'm going to ask you to continue to take deep, even, relaxing breaths. Now think of a passage of scripture or important truth, spiritual truth for you, and just use that as you slow and pace your breathing. Psalm 23 is one of my favorites. So as you breathe in, you might say, "The Lord is." And as you breathe out, "My shepherd." As you breathe in, "I shall." As you breathe out, "not want." Think of that spiritually meaningful thought or passage, and just go ahead and practice. I'll be quiet for a minute or two, and then we'll wrap up. So when I'm done speaking, go ahead and take 2 more deep, even, relaxing breaths. And if your eyes are closed, go ahead and open your eyes and reorient yourself. Thanks for joining me today. And remember, like any other skill, relaxation will get better if you practice more. Usually recommend people try it for about 5 minutes twice a day. If you want to do it a bit longer, that's fine too. The main thing is, if you have the skill, when you get in a stressful situation, you'll be able to use it. Thanks for joining me today.